you got to look for the little wins. And you got to celebrate them. If it's just about money or it's just about like, I want to have the most sales in my market for ego, those two things, they don't mean anything to your team. And they also don't mean anything to you as a person. Like you genuinely want to be able to build a real estate team so that you have financial and time freedom, but also you can focus on the type of clients that if you want to stay in production for 30, 40 years, who cares? As a team leader, if all I could do is advise and consult investors on how to be smart with real estate investments and coach my team, that's what makes me fulfilled each and every day.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Reside Platform Podcast. I'm your host, Suneet Agarwal, and today we're speaking with Daniel Gandee. Daniel's background includes experience in construction, real estate marketing, and investments. We're going to talk all about that today. And you're now the co-owner of the Operative Group in Oregon. What's going on, Daniel? How's it going, bud?
It's going, man. Good, man. TGIF. Glad to be here.
TGIF. Yep. At the time of the recording, it's Friday. I got one more meeting after this, and I too will be tuning off. I plan, just FYI, on sitting down in front of my TV and turning on Assassin's Creed, the new one, where it's like a ninja. And I beat the last one on last weekend. I started a new ninja one. So I'm looking forward to it.
Love it.
So this is not a video game podcast, no matter how bad I want it to be. This is a real estate podcast. So let's get to know Dan and get into it. So Dan, what inspired you to start the Operative Group? And more importantly, how did you know it was the right time to start a team?
Yeah. No, man. It's kind of a long story. And I think I try to make it as simple and easy as possible, is that I never wanted to be a real estate agent.
Right.
Yeah. I came from the construction, design, build sector. And I had a lot of business with real estate agents, both on post sale remodeling projects and landscape design and doing a bunch of different stuff. But how things kind of evolved is we built this really successful design build construction company in the Silicon Valley in the 2013, 14, 15, which was kind of the Facebook and Google boom.
Sure.
Era. So we rode that wave for, I think, 5 or 6 years. Had amassed a pretty good clientele list that included NFL players, NHL players, CEOs of top tech companies. And I was the public facing, estimator, partner, designer. So I was dealing with a lot of clients, and where that kind of evolved is that those two partners wanted to sell the company. And I was like, okay, I've been doing this since I got out of college. So I need to go find a job. I've never found a job. And I literally got on Craigslist or something crazy. And I literally came home that night and applied for a job for a director of operations of a brokerage with no license.
Wow. So then how did you know it was the right time to start your team when you started it?
It's just to move the needle fast forward. Brett Jennings gave me an opportunity to come on his team, and that was in his infancy of building a team. I think there was only four agents.
Shout out to Brett. Hell yeah.
4 agents. Yeah. 4 agents, got good experience in lead generation and operations. And then I bounced into the IDX website world. I built a company with a couple other partners for 5 years, doing a lot of the lead funnels, lead generation, positioning for agents. And where this kind of collides with everything is after about 4 years of that business, we were having good success. We had a lot of big agents as clients. And I got my license because I started doing investing in fix and flip properties. And my first year in real estate, I think I sold 18 deals working like maybe 4 to 6 hours a week.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, all right, maybe I'm good at this. So the next year I did 36, 72, and then 105 last year.
Damn.
It's been a ride. Which about 2.5 years ago, we hired our first agent, and now we're up to 17.
Yeah, buddy.
That's how I fell into it, right? So
yeah, that's funny. Like, how have those experiences influenced your approach to your team, the different backgrounds? Besides Brett, that's obvious, but everything else.
Brett taught me lead generation and operations, being very focused on metrics and tracking things, and being very strategic strategic with ideal client profiles. Like that background in IDX websites and marketing, like ad agency work for real estate agents that I've seen so many different agents, luxury agents, construction agents, investor agents, downsizing agents. And so what we did is we just implemented a bunch of squads in our team. And I said, look, when you come onto my team, you're not just a generalist. You're going to work in find your passion within the subgroup of real estate, whether it's FSBOs, luxury, rural properties, and we're going to build marketing systems and programs around it. And that's what we did at scale. So we have like 11 to 12 different sub squads in our team. And we buy lead generation, we build high value content, we do SEO, we do YouTube content for all of these different sub micro niches, which leads to predictable pipeline of business. That's what it does.
That's super interesting. I didn't know that. That's super interesting.
Yeah. So
I like it.
How I fell in the investment business is, we do a lot of short-term rental sales. We do a lot of fix and flip, a lot of long-term rental, buy and hold portfolio. It's nothing wrong with doing residential. We're still doing residential. We 4 to 6 listings a month on the resi side, which is not a crazy number, but I did 60 units myself, and I think 80% of those were investment properties.
Oh, wow. So you have a co-owner on the team, Ed.
Yep.
How do you that must be fun having a co-owner who's also in the trenches, right? How do you guys both leverage your individual strengths and still be effective? Because I think people start stepping all over each other.
Yeah, no, that's been a balance. Me and Ed were business partners in our investment side first.
Okay.
We kind of identified what our superpowers were, and Ed's very good cop. I'm very bad cop, and the training and mentorship and coaching. So he took the COO role. He's in the back end. He's not doing transactions. He'll refer deals to me, but he's handling agent accountability, CRM, auditing, the data. We rub through a lot of data and marketing systems. That allows me as the team leader, rainmaker, to go out and make relationships and be the face of the company while he's back there helping me with the operations, the growth, and some of the bigger relationships that we build into it. So it's kind of a unique relationship where we don't have two producers. I think that's where I see the biggest friction point. So that's been a blessing for us to be able to work with each other where he's out of production, I'm in production, but he's able to work with the agents and keep a really close pulse on what they're doing.
So a lot of agents, yeah, totally. A lot of agents and business owners, they dream about having a business partner, bro, right? But not every partnership works out. What advice do you have for agents or team leaders thinking about co-owning a real estate team?
Sit down and figure out each other and what your strengths are, and also figure out what friction points you may possibly have. One thing that's pretty well known with the agents on our team is that Dan's the salesperson, like scripts, contracts, any brokerage question, team question, like Dan's the person you're going to go to for that. So when you have a partnership, it's really allowing your team to understand who do you go to for the right thing. I think that's what caused some friction with partnerships is that you have one perspective or one answer coming from one partner and one perspective, and the agents will use that against you. You got to be careful. So we've three-way texted everything. We have a Slack channel for all of our questions. One-on-one coaching is done with me and the team, but I meet with Ed prior to each one of those one-on-ones to figure out what he and I want to come to the conclusion with everything. But and we also take turns on our team meetings and letting Ed run the team meeting from time to time. But to answer your question in layman's terms is like having that much intimacy between two partners who are working together on multiple businesses. Mm-hmm. You start to realize like, hey, let's just be straight with each other. Like if there's something wrong or you don't like this or you don't like this, like we'll just get down to it and get it resolved.
That's important.
Yeah. We've been in business together we're going on 8 years. So, and we own millions of dollars in investment properties together. So it's been definitely a ride, but I love him like a brother, and nothing's really ever going to change in terms of how we run the team. And
it's awesome. So offline, we were talking about working with investors.
Yeah.
Ryan, you said a majority of your listings is from investor business a couple of years ago, right? Or still, dude. Spill it. How do you crush the investor side?
When I built the real estate team, the very first day I ever got my license, I got a listing on a duplex. And I realized that if I look through the perspective of the investor and I built systems around investor marketing and lead generation. There's not much difference from residential. It's just establishing the motivation and where they are in their investment career. So what we did is we basically built 4 systems. We have a short-term rental, non-owner occupied type of marketing plan. We have a fix and flip, go out, cultivate investor relationships on the fix and flip side. And then we have buy and hold and any type of 1031 portfolio evaluation system. And then the fourth aspect to that is probably your house hacker, your beginner investor. We kind of built out those 4 channels. And what we did inside of each one of those silos is that we pulled data and we figured out how to be a wholesaler that investors wanted to work with. And instead of wholesaling the deals, we just brought the deals to the investors and then listed them and just listed them for a higher commission. So for example, in the fix and flip world, what we did is we pulled a list of all contractors in our state and we started calling contractors that we thought the best way to not create a marketing plan that doesn't work is to build a relationship with contractors who we can partner with investors that we know who need contractors. And then we turned around and told those same contractors how to be investors, showing them how to underwrite properties, building fix and flip calculation spreadsheets, sharing with them punch list issues, and working through building those partnerships with them and cultivating them into fix and flip investors. Mm-hmm. Then we spend a ton of money, dude, on data, like driving for dollars. I zoned out like multiple cities. I paid high school kids to drive around, find all the distressed properties. And then when AI came in, I use now AI to find every distressed property in multiple counties. And so we can provide fix and flip investors. We can provide anybody that's trying to do value add investing inventory as long as they have loyalty and partnership with us. I think the most unique thing about this is that where most real estate agents are transactional, we're marketing consultants. So we go into a relationship with an investor and we kind of open up their brain to like, hey, one of the best things we can do is teach you how to market and build a marketing system around your investment business. And we are going to forever be a partnership together. We'll provide you data. I'll have my ISAs cold call. I'll send out direct mail on your behalf. But when those deals come in, there are deals to partner with you on, whether it's to list the property or partner on the deal altogether. So those systems have been very, very successful. So much that we're building a certification program for real estate agents right now on how to work with investors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I took every certification from any possible place you could do except CCIM for commercial real estate. And I realized there's this big hole out there where most real estate agents that are on the resi side, they're like, oh, investors are tire kickers. They waste my time, or I can't find enough distressed properties, or they're not loyal to me. We answered all of those questions. And what we did is we figured out there was no training program to help investors scale.
Wow.
But investor agents is really who needs to help them. So we've been working on that for the last 6 months to a year. It's about to launch.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing to understand is that there's a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of masterminds and coaches, and those are all great things for the industry and investments. But to be a really, really good investor agent, you need to provide marketing, insight, and you need to understand running numbers and financing. And I think those 4 things, most investors get very frustrated with their agents, and it doesn't create long-term relationships. It's one and done type deals.
Yeah, dude. I love it. That's super smart, dude. I really like those angles and those niches and the different kinds of marketing and the different funnels. That's super smart. You get a lot. I'm giving you a lot of props right now. Like I didn't know that, and I feel like I should know that. So that's super smart. So to the team, how would you describe the team culture at the Operative Group?
Like I always use the saying, like the special ops of real estate, KFR and John really, teaching everybody to recruit and build teams around profitability and making smart hiring decisions. Like we're about to turn into that 2.0 launch of like actually starting to recruit. But to get to your culture question, like we built that from almost zero recruiting. I was super, 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 super active on social media and in the investment space and just helping people and building relationships with agents in the local community. That is what's emulated the culture now, because we have a lot of great agents on our team that want to help people. They're like, Dan, the only reason I work for Dan is he helped me for 2 years while my principal broker wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, perfect.
So collaboration, marketing first, speed to lead, being super agile, great negotiators, but the culture around us is really an exciting thing. And that's enabled us to really stand out in our local marketplace where there's a lot of clutter. There's several teams they can go to. There's several brokerages that blow our splits away. I didn't want to make this a team just about me. I wanted to make this team about something that was a movement, right?
Right. Yeah. That's what counts.
That's the culture.
That's how you inspire people, by creating a movement. What do you look for when you're hiring agents, and how do you set them up for success when they join your team?
Grit.
Yeah, but how do you look for grit?
I really, man, like I always ask the question. It's not just so much sales experience. That's big. That's big to me. I mean, I waited tables in college and like used to like sell land. You know, like, can I mow your lawn when I was 8 years old? Like,
good.
Always selling.
Hell yeah.
So sales is a big part of that. But to get down to the grit, man, like I look for people who have like uniquely stories about persevering, right? We got agents on our teams that have gone to prison. We have agents on our team that like literally have been bankrupt. We have people on our team that like they've done everything right? They've gone to college and had successful careers. I have a CPA on my team.
Wow.
They've all gone through something, and they all know that it takes hard work to be successful and nothing's given to them. And that's really important to my onboarding process, is like asking the right questions to identify those things.
Yes. Good.
I think that you get somebody that'll look out for your business versus just looking out for themselves.
Yeah. Team player is what we call it.
Yeah.
Right. A team player. So with the marketing and your online, like besides the strategy, the super niche strategy, what's another strategy? Because that super niche strategy is dope. And if you don't have another great strategy that we can share, I don't think you really need. You know what? I'm going to scratch that whole question because
I have something I can share.
Okay, go. But like, dude, for everyone watching and listening, the amount of thought that Dan has put into it, I'm sure he's getting good data and building lookalikes and doing all this, right? And figuring out who to target. That's smart. That's like agency chops right there. So props to you.
I appreciate that. Outside of like collecting reviews, no duh. Outside of like generating Facebook and IDX leads on PPC, like those are things that all teams do. Zillow, we do it all. It is telling other team leaders that are not doing well that I'll buy their team.
Hell yeah. Say it loud.
Yeah. We just bought a team that had shriveled back down to 3 agents, and we bought 23,000 leads in their database. Majority of those were sellers, and we bought eugenerealestate.com, which was a high profile domain.
Hell yeah.
So we run like multiple funnels, man. Like there's the eugenerealestate.com. That's what's going to be launching here soon. That's why I partner with Reside and Preston and really working out this system to work those 23,000 leads. But we also have another database of like 13 to 14,000 leads that is Oregon Property Guide. So we're building our little mini Zillow ecosystem.
Sure.
And we realized by making acquisitions and partnering with other real estate agents where we can be like, hey, if things aren't working out, like we want your leads. One of the funniest things that me and Ed at one point were trying to create a company called Lead Dumpster. Give us your leads. And this is before Fellow, and shout out to Ryan and doing some crazy stuff, right? I figured out if I could get a database and then I could work it and nurture it, eventually it'll come a time that we've built so many users that are coming to our property search sites that it'll start to pay off where we don't even know who the people are when they're reaching out to us to go show them a house to write an offer.
Yes.
You have a huge database. So this probably happens a lot for you guys, but I think this is year 5 going on 6. And we're now at like 2 to 3 to 4 transactions a month where I have no clue who the person is, Suneet.
Good.
And that has been that nurture database, build a really strong drip campaign sequence. And I'm not saying I have the best in the world, but what we've been able to do is generate enough leads to I partner with Nick McLean's lender on some relationships and building that relationship. And he asked me yesterday on a phone call at 7:00 at night, he said, how many leads are you generating a month? And I said, like, with a small team at a budget, our average cost per Facebook lead is $2.31.
So you're running them on your active listings.
We're running them on our active listing heavy. And we're running like 15 to 20 listings at a time. It's been able to build a database that's way bigger than anybody in the market in 1/4 the amount of time, and then be able to call through that database and wait for the hand raisers to pop up. And I think that's the difference. Most real estate agents out there are concerned about the next deal or spending the 5 to 10K a month. I have literally paid myself way less and invested every single dollar in growth because I knew if I was planting those carrot seeds, that field was going to be full of deals eventually. That's why we're seeing the success now.
What's your retargeting on your database look like?
We have kind of like two different things that are happening. We are retargeting. So our 12,000 contact database, which is basically my last 5 years of my business, every single listing we do deal of the week. We're also retargeting every single one of our listings to that database to see if we're getting people reactivating with those listings. I have a constant contact monthly newsletter that goes out. That's kind of the Ricky Carruth approach. A little snippet of local content, a video
monthly, Dan Gandee?
Monthly.
We do 3 a week.
I know you do. Right?
You got to get your newsletter game up. Yes. It's super easy.
You're 100% correct. And I forget who you interviewed. There was somebody who was like, don't be afraid to email your database.
Yeah. Right? I don't know. Yeah.
I forget who it was, but we've been doing a monthly, but we have a 47.3% open rate.
Good. That's the permission you need to send every other day.
Yeah, I know. So but yeah, that's not like a huge.
There's some coaching. I just can never ask the questions. I gotta coach.
You're so right too, because every time I do the newsletter every month, I'm like, man, I should be doing this bi-weekly. And then it's one of those conversations I should be having with myself regularly. But I think part of that is because I came from that wholesaler mindset, which is like, hey, I have 485 cash buyers on an email list in that same constant contact. And like, if I don't have the right deal, should I send it out to them or are they going to get pissed at me? So yeah, we try to balance that. Yeah, I think the secret weapon to all of this is knowing your data. And that's, I think at Tahoe that you spoke at, Preston was talking about really understanding your database and knowing who's in it. And then Ryan up there and was talking about how he had like broken down he had like data scienced out his database.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that nerding out on that stuff is like, that's the difference between having 2 to 4 or 5, 6 listings that people just call you. It's inbound. I don't even have to do anything. I don't have to cold call. The phone rings.
Like, if you go listen to, I think like episode 101, I have Steve Gurton on there from Asian Legend. And bro, so we have the first party score data, meaning like how they're reacting within our database and our website. And we have the third party data. So compared to people that have closed in our database, it's wicked, bro. So we took all the characteristics of people that closed in our database, ran it against our database, along with the first party information, and we're able to do a likelihood to transact score.
I like that.
And it's nailing it, dude.
I'm going to have to get more detailed on that.
And then also like, now that we're nerding out, I like that you're retargeting your listings. Excuse me, that you're targeting your database with your active listings. Have you ever tried to retarget your database with content?
Yes and no. I've been afraid because most of my content over the years has been investment driven content. And I knew I had a lot of just residential sellers and buyers in there. So part of that whole sequence is like, I've been balancing between like, should I do the bomb one video that has great legs and good content, or should I just drop little nuggets from here and there about things that I think are going to be the most relevant to that database?
Both. So, right, like it depends on the platform. And since we're specifically talking about retargeting, we're going to go to like friggin', maybe YouTube Shorts and probably mostly meta. So then you take the database with 7 short form pieces of content and just put them on rotation, and you'll be surprised on the amount of traffic you get back to your website. Then you throw like a double opt-in sometimes. Double opt-in means somebody's ready. They opted back in, bro. They opted back in. We could talk about all that for hours. So, but to not make this a live coaching session, you know, a lot of agents struggle with lead conversion. What do you think your team does differently to convert?
Well, Reside's been a good part of that. Like, we're just launching the Rise program that you guys have. Shout out to Mia. It's like every time that anybody comes out of any of those trainings, they're super amped, and there's something to be said about it's not coming from me, right? Or Ed. It's coming from somebody. Yeah. It's coming from somebody who's like in the trenches, like been an ISA, has gone through every objection and script. But to really nail down, like, we really focus on identifying motivation, but also just conversating. We can sit here and be a call center, but we can also be here. Like, I don't know what it is, but our market, and I've said this is really funny. I said this to Preston. I said, my market is extremely anti-cold caller. Like, I don't know what it is. We have like 250,000 people in our local metropolitan area. And like, our conversion rate from a cold call, cold lead, never seen our brand is probably, you're truly like sub 1%.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have an aging population here. We also have people who just like don't embrace technology and phone calls. So like, you have this like Oregon way of life that's happening. And not to say that that's an excuse, but what we've realized is that if you don't have conversations with people and they cannot relate to you in terms of like having like, hey, how's your week going? Good. Awesome. Sweet. The reason I'm calling is X, Y, and Z. If you sound scripted, you will immediately get hung up in the Oregon market.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from the Silicon Valley, where like we could just blow through 1,000 numbers and people are like, oh yeah, I do need help. I've been thinking about selling a house. There's more conversion in more heavily populated areas because I think people actually have a higher motivation and there's more propensity to buy and sell properties.
Sure.
When you're calling rural markets, like, I try to teach the agents on our team, conversate, identify motivation, look for those little clues and cues that they're looking to have an open conversation with you. And at least the least common denominator of the whole conversation, like if anything is anybody from this entire podcast, an email verification before you get off the phone call is the minimum thing you should always be doing.
I love that.
And that's what I teach my agents right from the get-go. I said, hey, you never get off a phone call without saying like, hey, your name is Denise Smith at dsmith14@gmail.com. Is that what you have? I'm not going to spam you. I just want to make sure I have the right email address, and we'll keep in touch, or we'll send you listings, or I can send you a home val, whatever it is. But do not have a phone conversation and do not confirm their email address. And that's what we've been doing for 5+ years.
Dude, that's so good. That's really smart. So what advice do you have to the team leader who's listening, dude?
When you're stuck in, what do they call the messy middle? That's where we're at right now. Like, I'm trying to slowly get back to 1 to 2 deals a month. You gotta look for the wins. You got to be passionate about it, but we all have stressful days. But the team leader that's listening, that's in that messy middle or is in that like growth trajectory, what I tell my wife every time is like, you got to look for the little wins and you got to celebrate them. If it's just about money or it's just about like, I want to have the most sales in my market for ego, those 2 things, they don't mean anything to your team. And they also don't mean anything to you as a person. Like, you genuinely want to be able to build a real estate team so that you have financial and time freedom, but also you can focus on the type of clients that if you want to stay in production for 30, 40 years, who cares? As a team leader, if all I could do is advise and consult investors on how to be smart with real estate investments and coach my team, that's what makes me fulfilled each and every day.
Dude, love that. So if people want to connect with you, Dan, and send you a referral or chat or learn about the investor stuff, where should they go?
Hit me up on IG, Oregon Real Estate Expert. Very easy to remember.
Good one. Another good one.
You can hit us up on our website, OregonPropertyGuide.com or theoperativegroup.com. And then just keep your radar on. We're going to be launching Investor Alignment Academy. That's going to be starting here in Q2 of 2025.
All right, guys, hit up Dan if you have a deal for him out there in the Eugene area. And if you want to learn more about investments, hey, this was a good episode, Dan. Thank you, dude. You did good.
I appreciate it, man.
I learned a lot about you, which is something fun for me doing this episode, because when do we ever get a chance to like just chit chat like this?
It's been too long, man. I've been following you on the sidelines. I knew Brett knew you and saw you in Tahoe, and it's been thank you to Nick and John and yourself and everybody at Reside. You guys have been great.
Oh, thanks, man. Means a lot. Well, for everyone listening, hear that testimonial. If you want to learn more about the Reside platform, go to resideplatform.com. And look, I really hope you got something out of this podcast, because I did. Some of those funnels and the investor stuff that Dan was talking about is absolute fire. So knowing that you did get something out of this episode, hit like, subscribe, share with a realtor friend. And look, we have 106 other episodes that you can find on this podcast. We have great guests, like someone that Daniel talked about twice, Mia Yamashita. She has like 3-4 episodes. So you want to hear what Mia's talking about? Go back to episode 66 and hear Mia drop some fire. Make sure to tune in every week for a new episode here. And we'll see you on the next episode. I said episode like 4 times in like 2 minutes. Let's make it 5 times. Tune in for the next episode of the Reside Platform Podcast. See you later, everybody.